Hey guys, Mark Jeffrey here. Hope you're doing well, staying safe and staying inside, practicing social distance. I know a lot of us, especially parents, we've been working from home and we've had our kids with us for extended periods of time. I know I have. And with that comes a lot of trying to find things to do with your kids, keep your kids from being bored or from getting stir crazy. The same thing applies for us, taking a lot of walks, going outside, doing things to keep us occupied. And so I made a decision this week, my wife and I did, with our daughter, Mackenzie, and wanted to share with you here, and hopefully it might help you a little bit. We had been holding out on this for a very, very long time, and it was something that we both agreed to. We had been praying about it, just when was the right time, and it just didn't feel right. But something about being at home, and just from where we felt our daughter was, we decided to do something completely different that we hadn't done for a long time. We gave our daughter access to Instagram. Yes, I felt the same way. But we talked about it, and it was something that we both agreed to. And before we let Mackenzie have that, we decided we wanted to have some ground rules. And so I wanted to kind of share a few videos. We're going to get into another video that's going to actually share some of the technical things that I use, some apps and programs that we use to help keep our kids safe from the internet and social media and their phones as a whole. But as it regards to social media, I want to kind of go over some of the ground rules that we gave our daughter, and hopefully it might help you too. First of all, I want to tell you that if you decide to give your kids access to social media, it needs to be a decision that you based on the maturity level and readiness of your child to be able to handle that. Any of us that are involved in social media know that it can control our entire lives. We can find ourselves on it for hours at a time, just scrolling and scrolling. And so if you decide that that's something that you want to do, make sure that it's something that if you're married, that you and your spouse agree on. If your child, their job is to come to you for the longest period of time, as often as they can, and ask you why they should have social media or access to programs or apps like TikTok or things like that. I want to first of all tell you that if you decide not to do that, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. That it is our job as a parent to hear from God and to know and to gauge our kids to know when we feel they're ready to do that. And if that's something that you feel okay and safe with, the point of these videos is to really just help you, give you some tools that help you communicate with your kids, make it safe, and then give you some type of peace of mind while you're using those. And so I'm going to talk about what some of the rules we put into place, and then on another video we'll get into some of the technical things. So here's what we did. We sat down with Mackenzie and we said, we're going to give you access to this, but here's the ground rules. One, we're going to limit your usage to around 2 hours a day. And we're going to maintain that through some apps. But the first rule that we gave was a time limit. The second rule was your accounts stay private, meaning only people that follow you are going to be able to see what you post. And so we ask that you keep those accounts private. Number three, the passwords are shared. Her mother and I have access to that Instagram account, and we can jump in that account anytime we want, see the activity that she's on, see who she's speaking to, see what she's posting, who she's communicating with. And so passwords are shared community with the family. They're never to be changed. The next rule was only friends are allowed to follow you. We realize that now, because of where she's at with things, she's not able to see people at church like she normally would. She's not able to interact. And so we realize that not only can this help her kind of pass the time away, but stay in contact with her friends and some of her small group leaders at church. What Firehouse is putting out on its pages as well to help minister to kids during this time. And so only friends are allowed to follow you. The next rule was keep information private. And so we do that to say, we don't want you posting where you're at. We don't want you to post your phone number. We don't want you to give out our address. We don't want you to give out things that could be seen by other people, even though we're doing all of these steps to keep it private. And then the last thing that we talked about with her is, listen, if you get on social media and you see some things that are weird, you see some things that make you feel kind of weird, if you feel like you're getting addicted, if you feel like that you can't stay off of that, we need to talk to you about that. And even if Mackenzie doesn't come and talk to us about that, we're going to take certain times and actively sit down with her and say, okay, what is it like now that you're seeing it? How is it making you feel? What are you seeing from other places? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? And really, as a parent, that's my job anyway, is to be proactive enough to ask the right kind of questions. You know, my son is notorious for this. If he's having a bad day at school, he's kind of like me. I can see it all over his face. And so many times with my son, we can tell something is wrong, and usually the first question is, what happened today? What's going on? What's making you kind of down? And usually the first response is nothing. Everything's fine. No problem. But the more that we engage and we talk, we typically find out what's going on, because kids have a way of wearing that on their face. And so it's our job as a parent to talk to them as much as possible. So if you're going to do that, first of all, don't feel bad if your kid asks you every day and you don't feel right doing it. It's your job to keep them safe, and only you know those parameters. You know your children. You know what's good for them and what's not. Don't let any parent make you feel bad, or any of their friends, if they say they have it. That's all based on your preference. So if you're going to open that up, make sure your accounts are private. Make sure that passwords are shared, and actively go on their accounts. Check up on them. Only allow their friends to follow them. Encourage that it's only friends that follow them. Keep their information private. Don't post where they're at, where they're going to be. And have time set up that you can talk to your children about what they're experiencing on social media, how it's making them feel. Hey, listen, we're all in this together. If you go to the next video, I'm going to share with you some actual apps and softwares that I use to help try to keep our kids safe on the internet. And we were going to do this a little bit broader, but since we're all staying at home, I think it's even more important that we do that. So we're going to try to get some more videos out like that. Check out the next one. I'm going to give you a step-by-step tutorial on those apps. All right, take care.